Hello and welcome back to the Oklahoma Venture Forum podcast, the OVS podcast for March 2022. I'm here with Laurent from Factory Obscura. We're going to talk about a very different investment opportunity happening in Norman, Oklahoma. We're going to talk about your current operation in Oklahoma City and let people know that there are many ways to invest in businesses. Sometimes you can invest in art. Right.
That's right.
So please introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about what Factory Obscura is and what you're doing now in the Oklahoma City location, and then we'll have a conversation about what you're planning in Norman.
Okay, great. Laurent Phillips, one of the co-founders of Factory Obscura. We started in 2017. Our current location is at 9th and Broadway. It's called Mixtape. We have built 6,000 square feet of immersive art, which means people get to move through the space, ceiling to floor, arted that they can touch and interact with. And we have lots of cool events and lots going on 9th Street, and we're looking to expand.
Right in the heart of Automobile Alley, right?
Yeah, that's right.
All right.
I'm Laurent Massenat, also co-founder of Factory Obscura. And yeah, that's about all I have to say.
That's right.
For those listening, they're picking up an accent. So tell everyone where that comes from.
Oh yes, the accent is from Texas.
Of course,
as you can tell.
I can tell it's from Texas.
I'm originally from France. Moved here in 1995. So I'm really an Okie with a French accent now.
Fantastic.
And I adopted this city, or the city adopted me, whichever way we want to look at it.
It's easy to fall in love and be loved in Oklahoma City.
Yes,
yeah. I agree.
Yes,
so Factory Obscura, 9th Street, right off Broadway. It's an immersive art experience. It's a whole facility that is art dedicated, and now you're considering taking this concept and expanding upon it, maybe Factory Obscura on steroids.
That's right.
And doing something different and new in Norman.
That's right.
So tell us a little bit about that project.
Yeah. When we started in 2017, our plan was to build a much bigger facility than what we currently have. We wanted to go about the size of Meow Wolf in Santa Fe, which is 20,000 square feet of art in a 30,000 square foot building approximately. It allows for a much bigger capacity than what we are able to do in our current facility. And because we're a B corporation, our mission is to support arts education. And so that size of business allows us to invest seriously in the community and in arts education.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
For those listening who are not familiar, tell them a little bit about Meow Wolf.
Okay. Meow Wolf led the charge on creating immersive experiences that are similar to ours. Their first permanent location opened in 2016, but they had already been building art together for about 10 years. So when we came on the scene, they had already built the idea of what a business could be that, is a for-profit business building immersive art.
A very successful for-profit business.
Very successful,
yes.
Very successful, huge impact in Santa Fe and in the state of New Mexico. And they were kind enough to not only invest in our first project, but also come out physically to help us complete that project and get open on time, and also open their books to us and show us how they were doing financially, how they set things up. They shared contracts with us, all kinds of, it is unbelievable the length that they went to share their business model with us.
So you don't have just an example of how it can be successfully done with Meow Wolf, but you have the secret sauce.
We have the ingredients.
You have all the behind the
exactly
scenes, right? So you're not guessing as to how to duplicate the success they've had there. You really have the blueprint to do that, just in a different location.
That's exactly right. We have their blueprints and we have their experience, and we see ways that we don't want to emulate what they're doing, and we see ways that we very much want to follow in their footsteps.
Fantastic.
So they have opened the doors for us.
Yeah.
So another example of the business aspects of this immersive art facility is we're not talking about it'll be great, we hope it will. We have examples, we have the proof, and we have the roadmap to do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And not only we have examples from Meow Wolf, but we now have our own example at Mixtape.
Right.
And so it's very comforting to know that when we in fact, as Laura mentioned, when we first started out, we had this big ambitious project in mind, and I'm so grateful that we had a chance to study and to make small steps in order to get to the big one, and that will certainly make our success that much more attainable.
So it's been a learning process.
Yeah.
Totally.
You've iterated
Yeah.
the variations of what that facility could be and what immersive art could be at 9th Street, and now the expansion comes.
That's right.
That sounds like any startup to successful business path, right?
That's right. Yeah, we started with a test of concept that was like, can we do this thing and do people want it?
Right.
Free of charge. We did a donations-based project first. Then we doubled in size with some investors, ticketed, made the profit, paid the investors back, and then we moved on to the bigger project. So we have been through the process many times and gotten better every time.
So a track record of taking an investment, creating successful outcomes, profiting, sharing those profits with the investors, and then again iterating or growing the company into something more.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And maybe you want to talk about the profit that we just made after our first year of operations at Mixtape, despite COVID.
Yeah, in spite of COVID, we were able to, we closed for 6 months, entirely closed. We were able to keep on the payroll some of our staff. And we were able to reopen, and after a year of business, granted, we started very slow with a lot of protection measures and things like that. We were able to meet our 50% of our targeted profit. So net profit after 1 year of operation, we're already halfway there. And this year is promising to far exceed what we expected. So
now that you get to go 100% at it, right? You're going to see much greater levels of success.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're on par to do 200% of our projected profit right now.
So our investors very pleased.
Yeah. Right?
And our artists got a little bit of profit share as well.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Good.
We were able to.
So staff is getting paid.
Yes.
Artists are contributing and they're getting paid, and so they're making money and profit as well. Investors are making their money back. Obviously, you're employing people, so there's payroll taxes. Then those people have money to go out and eat and do things in the city and pay their rent and do things like that, right? So there's a lot of economic value that's being generated from the center.
Much,
economic downfall. Not to mention the adjoining or the local businesses that directly benefit.
Yeah, you have
from
a great
presence.
collection, a cluster right there on 9th Street, and then obviously Automobile Alley as a whole. That then sort of bleeds into right across the interstate is the Innovation District, and you get into Midtown and everything else, right?
Yeah.
Another aspect of Oklahoma City that people can come to enjoy themselves and to have a little bit of commerce, but mostly recreation and tourism.
Tourism,
right?
That's
People
right.
from outside of Oklahoma City and outside the state can come as well, right?
Absolutely, and I believe we already have. We are now able to track on a map where our participants are coming from. We anticipate with the Norman expansion that this map will grow, and we will have a nationwide reach with our participants. I think the flip will be when people do travel to Norman specifically just because we are there, and not because they happen to be
Step
there.
one, your facility. Step two, other places that they'll go on their journey,
Exactly.
right? Yes, for sure.
I think currently the majority of the tourists we see happen to be in Oklahoma City, and they say, what are the cool things to do in Oklahoma City? Oh, Mixtape. That's top of the list, right? But eventually the trend will be that people will come to Oklahoma City or to Norman just because we are there.
But you do have national reach. In fact, you were just listed as a number 2
Number 2 in the world, by Newsweek.
Right, Newsweek. So Newsweek is an national and international publication that listed you as number 2, and there are things to do, right?
Yeah.
Just after Meow Wolf.
Yeah, that's right after Meow Wolf. And Condé Nast also lists us when they do traveling guides,
I think what's important here is to note that we are unique.
Yes.
And from a touristic perspective, that's very important. I always say, every major city has a zoo, has an aquarium, but Norman is the only city that's going to have Factory Obscura.
This is
Norman,
true.
Oklahoma City. I mean,
Yeah.
And one of the key aspects of successful business is differentiation.
Correct. Yes.
Setting yourself apart. So the uniqueness is very high on the potential for success
We are
in any business endeavor.
We are in the blue ocean.
There you
Yeah.
go. That's fantastic. That's
I
a great
think
place to be.
The industry itself is fairly new, and as proven by the help that we received from Earwolf, they don't see us as a competition,
Right.
but rather helping us, raise that tide for everyone.
In theory, plenty of people who are very attracted to immersive art could be traveling on a trip and they come through Oklahoma City on to Santa Fe, or Santa Fe
That's
back
right.
to Oklahoma
Yeah.
City, and vice versa, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yes.
The more attractions like this, the more opportunities for people to experience it, and then go find another one to
That's
experience.
right.
I agree.
Yeah.
For
Start,
sure.
start in St. Louis, stop in Oklahoma City, go
There
to
you go.
Norman,
Yes.
go to Santa Fe, then Denver, Las Vegas.
Las Vegas, yes.
Yeah.
There are several major places to visit that
Yeah.
are in the same industry, in the immersive industry.
So let's talk about Norman specifically. 'Cause this is a proposal at this point. This is an idea and a proposal, and it's something that you're actively working on, but it isn't set in stone yet.
That's correct.
So explain the concept and what you're trying to achieve, and some of the things that you're going to have to overcome in order to make it a reality.
All right. So we have, like I said, the project that we wanted to build from the beginning, and now it has kind of been fleshed out into about 25,000 square feet of immersive art in a facility that would also have, a nice lobby and reception area, food and beverage. The buildings we've identified are on Gray Street, and Norman, the city of Norman, is interested in us using those buildings. So we're in negotiations now to see if that's going to be a really low price lease or even a purchase. And they're very open to having us.
Those buildings empty right now.
They are empty.
They are emptying it.
Yeah.
So they're unused. So you'll be
Yes.
utilizing space that currently is not being taken advantage of.
Yes. And they evacuated the buildings for our use.
Oh,
So
okay.
it is, even though we don't have the contract yet, we do feel we have a commitment from Norman to make this happen in Norman, and a lot of support in that direction.
Another feather in your cap. That when the city officials are on your side, that's
Yeah.
a good sign.
That's a good sign. Exactly. So we've identified property. We have the city with us. Now we have also a need for workshop space, office space, and education facilities. And those buildings we have identified are on Comanche, just a couple blocks from where the art facility would be. And we're working with the county to see what they might be able to invest in those on that street and
Okay.
make that part happen. So that part is more community focused. It's more the people who live in Norman, who work in Norman, and who come to Norman for arts things and want to come, play and make things with us. And then on the other side is people, who want to
But
go.
you're putting together a
experience
great
the art.
collection of collaborators.
Yes.
The more people involved and invested in and wanting to see this be successful, the more likely it's going to be successful.
That's right. Yeah, that's exactly right. We feel like we have the people who need to be interested are
Right.
very interested and are helping us. And we've worked with the Economic Development Coalition in Norman as well. They've been introducing us to potential investors and really supporting us. We've been welcomed into the chamber. I mean, the business community also is understanding that this is a boon for Norman, and they want to figure out how to make it happen.
And especially anything that is not tied to 6 home football games a year.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Like, those are obviously great for Norman, but it only happens 5, 6, possibly 7 times a year.
That's
where
right.
this is a facility that's going to be open all year long
That's
and
right.
and permanent.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
So what are the current hurdles or things that you're trying to overcome at this moment? I know it's a fluid thing, like every day you're solving problems, but what's the next big thing that you're like, when we get this in place, then we're really going to be working fast?
What do you think it is?
I think the biggest challenge right now is to find a single or a handful of investors who are committed and who will say, yes, we'll put down several $1 million,
Right.
and get that ball rolling. Because I believe the city is committed, the county is committed, and so really now we just need, our total investment is estimated at $25 million. Part of it will be financed through ARPA. We are in the process of applying for this funding.
We hope.
Right.
Lots of people are asking for that money, but we
Yep.
Yeah.
we have a compelling argument.
Absolutely. Part of the structure will come from direct private investment in exchange of equity or in the form of a convertible loan. And then a third part will probably be financed through traditional bank loans. Toward the latter parts of the.
So again, a structure that looks like a traditional business deal.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So people don't get too hung up on art. Art is the product, but it is structured. It is supported by the city. It has a financial backing. It has a business plan that has been proven in other places. It has every aspect of an investable business that also happens to be a very interesting, very different, very unique, which is also one of the selling points, immersive art facility and all the programming that comes with it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, you got it.
Right? So there's nothing better than finding something different and unique. It's easy to invest in oil and real estate in this town, but to invest in something different, but also as a smart business decision, but also something that's culturally relevant, that has an education component. Everyone understands the impact of tourism, especially on a smaller city like Norman. Every aspect lines up to why not?
Yeah.
Why not? I think you captured that very well. The idea of a feel-good investment. So not only the numbers that we project are astounding in terms of pure investment, based on the Meow Wolf model.
Right.
And in addition, you get an opportunity as an investor to have an impact on community, on quality of life, on everything that art brings to life.
Which is even a further concept of business development, of a business attraction, is the quality of life conversation. Every time the city of Oklahoma City and the state and even Tulsa talks about we're trying to woo some big company to come here, whether it's Google or one of the electric vehicle companies are trying to get here. That's always part of the conversation. Obviously, workforce and education and access to facilities and things of that nature, but quality of life, right? You want to attract good employees. You want to retain good employees. They have families. All of those things feed into the economic impact of a project like this.
Indeed.
So that's why we need our local investors to get on board with this. Also, I think this is a big enough project that you could attract out-of-state money. And anytime Oklahoma-based businesses bring funding from other places, that's also a huge advantage. The economic impact almost doubles and triples because it's adding to the pot, not taking from any of the other investment money locally. So another opportunity, I think, that should be a bright, shining example of what you're doing, both on 9th Street in Oklahoma City and the potential new facility in Norman.
Yeah.
So we're super excited to have this conversation with you guys today. We're super excited that you presented for OVF as well. A very great presentation. For those of you who missed it, make sure we'll try to have some snippets on YouTube to accompany this as well. But go to let's let everyone know some places maybe they can go online or something like that to see what it is you're working on and learn a little bit more about this if they're interested in being an investor or maybe an employee or an artist that works with you.
Well, obviously we have a great website for Mixtape, if that's factoryobscura.fun. And you can find out what we've got going on there. And you can email me through the info and get any additional information that you want, or email Laurent, but that would be complicated to give you that email address. We don't have any information about the Norman project that you could find online.
So it would still private, right?
It would still be, but we are very happy to present to anyone who wants to hear about it.
Okay. So if anyone is listening to this right now and they find this interesting and they want to know more information, they can email you through the Mixtape website. What's
That's
that?
right. FactoryObscura.fun.
.fun. You got to love that, folks. It's a .fun, not a .com. Or, of course, you can contact OVF, and we will be very happy to forward that information to you as well. Make sure you get in contact with Laura and Laurent, what they're doing. It's an exciting project. We're looking forward to it happening in Norman sometime in the very near future. And we're very impressed with what you're doing, and we're very excited for the future of immersive art in Oklahoma.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah.